My name is Kazu Yamaji. I'm from Japan. I'm head of the Research Center for Open Science and the Data Platform in NII Japan. And as Omo introduced us, so we're also the inland providing the high-speed network to the Japanese Higher Education and Research Center. And on top of that, we're also providing some, the scholarly communication service, including the, the repository, the infrastructure. And we got, as Jeannie also trying to, the response to the question given by the Catherine, we got the 4 questions from the Catherine. I'm gonna try to answer to one by one. We can see the slide from Japan, but not the presenter now. So I can't make sense what this message means.
I think it might be because your video is off, Kazu.
Yes, but I can start my video. So the Zoom said the host stopped the video. So I can't start. I cannot start the video.
I can see your slides, and I can
yeah,
see
but
your.
Anyway, just a slide is good enough, I guess. But anyway, going back to the question given by the Catherine, from our point of view, the repository is the super distributed, and the benefit of the institution repository is the sustainable model. For instance, once we think about the research project launch at the repository or the homepage, after the budget cut down, so their homepage unable to maintain anymore. So if I compare with the institution repository, the repository has much more the sustainable model. And in our case, so in case from the viewpoint of the repository operation, there's two different aspects. One is the competitive, and the other is the cooperative. In case of the content itself, this is the kind of the content on competitive field. So maybe we can compete each other between the institution or between the researchers. But in case of the repository operation and the infrastructure itself, this is a kind of the cooperative field. We consider it like that way. And in our case, we have the repository community in Japan named JP Core. And also, we are providing the cloud service for the institutional repository, which names the Gyro Cloud. And also, we are trying to build up the much more sustainable model and the ecosystem around the repository. And as many of you guys has already been and seen this graph, this is a growth graph of the institutional repository in Japan. We've started the kind of the repository project from the 2005, and then this blue curve is the number of the institution which has a on-premise repository system, and the orange is the institution which are utilizing our cloud service. And at the beginning, we're just providing our cloud service for the institution repository to the newcomers. But around the 2015, we've also offering our cloud service to the existing the institution, which has already has their own repository, and that they try to migrate their repository into our the cloud service. And now more than 700 university or the research institution, they are operating their institution repository by using our system. And we've started our this Gyro Cloud repository cloud service more than almost 10 years ago. No, not 10 years ago, but at the beginning, they utilized the repository platform named Weko, which I developed 10 years ago. And right now, we are trying to migrate to our new repository platform, which is developed by my colleagues and based on the Invenio. And from the last year, we started to test the migration to our new repository platform, and more than 10 institutions joined to the pilot operation, and we've got tons of the requests and the feedback from the new pioneering the institution. And then from this summer, the next summer, we have started to migrate whole institutions to the new platform in this year. It's a big challenge. It's, at the same time, we need to migrate over 700 institutions to a new service. But, hopefully we can go as well. And the next, the question is about the challenge. So I picked up the two aspects from the open access and the open science. And in our case in Japan, we don't have a strong mandate from the government and from the funding agency. And this is the kind of the content ratio of the Japanese institutional repository. The gray part is the Department of Bulletin Paper, as it's more than half. And in case of the journal article, there are still space to be extended, to be expanded. And our idea is still around the green, not the diamond, but still green. But we thought there's still has the possible way to be extended, expanded, even the green road. And in our case, we developed a new system for assisting the open access from the viewpoint of the green. And we got the data from the Web Science, and we try to fetch the data from Web Science and provide the update to the repository staff. And then by using that information, the repository manager tried to fetch the author final manuscript from the researchers, and then try to upload the file to our Gyro Cloud service. And in this case, we at the beginning we tried to utilize the Shell Romeo data, but some of the librarians said the data is not updated. So we surveyed more than 2,025 journals about the archiving policy and updated the data. And we've started a feasibility study of this system from the last year. And then we did some, the testing, the survey. And we've also got tons of the requests and the feedback from the institution. Pioneering the institution is now that the system is under the improvement. And this year we have started to place the production level service of this service. And the next is around the open science. As you may know, we are right now operating the so-called NII Research Data Cloud, which is composed by the different type of the platform. The one is the RDM platform, which is handling the data and during the research. And also we have a publication platform. This is the Gyro Cloud service. And we also have a discovery service. And by this three different platforms, we are trying to that supports the research data lifecycle. Is how to connect each different platform, and the one of the challenge is to provide the online analysis button in the repository platform. Once the researcher push this button, the system initiate the analysis environment, which employ the Jupyter Hub, and then send the program code and the data to this Jupyter Hub. And then the researcher enjoys their analysis. And as I mentioned before, we have an RDM service, and the researcher back and forth the data and the code between the analysis environment and the RDM platform. And once the researcher got the result about their research, they will upload the data and the code, the new code and the new data into the institutional repository. So like this way, so we are trying to provide how to facilitate the open science itself and how to support the research process itself. And this is a kind of the last question. There are so many things we'd like to do, but not yet tacked with. So in case of the bibliodiversity, so we are just trying to have that our experiment in the green, how to get more green the content, but the people, as the previous speaker said, their intention is the diamond and the more, the different type of the open access. So we need to look for more possible way about a preprint and the overlay. And the metrics is also very important. So this is the kind of the could be the new business model from the viewpoint of the discovery scientists. And and there are so many things we wanted to do, but fortunately my research center is getting bigger and bigger, and I can assign that each individual, the new researchers into each individual topics. But the problem is the mind and activity around the librarians itself. And as you can see in these participants, so I can't see any Japanese librarians in this, the core participant in this year. So that this is in the kind of, the bad situation around the COVID-19. So we need to, to bring their intention into this, the international activity, and would like to try to ask them to collaborate much more with this kind of international the community. So maybe the core host has already came back to this, the Zoom room. So